had no idea in past relationships that I wasn't showing up authentically, that I wasn't sharing how I really felt. I just, I shared a lot about it myself. I shared a lot about my history and my experience, but I didn't share that I was actually feeling scared a lot of the time. And I think that's because I had assumed this position of unconsciously being the hero, of being the one that is supportive and that's always there for the other person. And this wasn't just in my romantic relationships, it was also in my friendships, in my family. And so deep down, I there was a part of me that thought if I told the truth about how I felt, I'd lose that position, which was in a way getting me love and bringing me value and worth into the relationship. And so I wasn't showing up authentically. I wasn't being totally vulnerable, and I had no idea that I was doing it. Hi, I'm Sarah Schweppe, and I support divorced women in helping professions to break free from old relationship patterns and create the life and love they really want. Today, I'm talking about vulnerability and authenticity and belonging. I posted some social media content, the Brene Brown quote, belonging doesn't require you to change who you are, it requires you to be who you are. And I wanted to pop on YouTube and talk a little bit about this because I'm still so baffled at how I didn't realize what I was doing when I was previously married and thought I was doing the authenticity thing. I mean, I have been a fan of Brene Brown for years. I have read her books. I love her stuff. And I wasn't showing up. I wasn't saying that I was really scared. The way that I was showing up was feeling frustrated, wanting the other person to change, wanting them to do something different, versus removing them from the situation and saying, oh, these are my feelings. These feelings are in me. It was such a game changer for me when I learned about this, when I connected with the Evolutionary Power Institute, that, and it's funny because I knew this. I've been in 12-step work for a long time. It's all about taking personal responsibility, but there was still a layer for me where I was outsourcing my feelings, where I was convinced, and I still go there from time to time when I'm in reactive brain, when I'm lodged in stuck energy in my body and I'm not moving it through. It looks like it's something out there that needs to change in order for me to feel better. So, when it comes to vulnerability, when it comes to belonging, when it comes to being authentic, I see now that that's everything in relationship. The Hendricks, Gay and Katie Hendricks, have this idea of revealing over concealing. And I thought, well, I didn't lie. I never overtly lied. I never didn't tell the truth about the things I was doing or, what I wanted. But I wasn't telling the truth about how I felt. I wasn't fully being vulnerable. I wasn't being my authentic self because my authentic self was scared and having some big feelings. I wasn't letting certain parts of myself be seen. I wouldn't consider my personas or the masks of my ego to be my authentic self, but I certainly was keeping parts of me hidden down, like in the shadow, like, oh no, there's no way if people know about this that they're going to love me and accept me. So I think what I want to share today is if you're finding yourself, if you're ready to get back into a relationship, you've gone through the divorce, you've had the pain point, you had the freaking dark night of your soul, and you're feeling kind of scared, like something's missing, it might be this piece of knowing how to be in your body, to be present with your feelings, and to speak the truth about those in a way that's blame-free, in a way that supports you to show up, to be who you are, and to know how to move those feelings through. Okay, so you're feeling scared, or maybe you're sad, or maybe you're mad. Do you have a way to shift out of that so that you don't get stuck in conflict or blaming the other person or making up a story about yourself or them that inevitably maybe takes you out of something that could be a really good thing. I know that you know this. I know that you've read all the books and you've watched all the videos and you've done the trainings. You might even be trained in emotional intelligence and therapy or healing work or relationship stuff. And I wonder if you really tune in, have you let yourself be fully revealed in relationship? Could this be the missing piece for you? What comes up for you? What does that feel like when you think about being really seen? Like really letting yourself be seen, letting your feelings be true, letting yourself be vulnerable in the stuff that maybe you're like really scared for other people to see. I think that finding the courage to show up in this way, to be revealed, to be seen, is the key to the relationship that you really want. I know for me with my partner, I feel really lucky because when we got together, we had read similar work. We were interested in evolutionary power. We're both coaches in it. We'd read this book called Conscious Loving by Gay Hendricks. If you haven't read it, Gay and Katie Hendricks, if you haven't read it, I would highly recommend it. It's an older book, but it's a classic. It's a total game changer. And from day one, the first conversation we had where we decided that we were going to date and get to know each other, we made this agreement that we were going to take responsibility for ourselves, for our experience, for our feelings, and that we were going to tell the truth. And don't get me wrong, there are times where I have to come back later and like, actually, this is what's true, or I really had this feeling. But we made that commitment early on, and I think it's been one of the key pieces that's allowed us to have a relationship that's incredible. It's my dream relationship. And that's not to say it's perfect, because we both go below the line. We get in reactive brain. We get in our own persona entanglements. But we have this agreement that we come back to. We have this knowing that if I tell the truth, if I release you from the responsibility for how I feel, if I am able to move through the big stuff that will inevitably come up in me as a result of being in a romantic relationship, I think this is one of the most beautiful gifts, is that they will reliably trigger us. But then I can see the old stuff that's coming up. It's like I can't see it if I don't know that it's there, and move through it truthfully, authentically, unarguably, and come back into my essence, into my truest self, where I do feel vulnerable in that. Like, woo, it's a big thing to be seen in that, and it's what I so want. I don't, those pathways in my brain are not, the grooves are not as etched in there as the other ways of my masks and my personas and my reactive brain ways. And that's what I want. And I think that that's the journey, that's the adventure of relationship, is getting to like dabble in that and be in that together and explore, what do I really want and what do you really want, and how can we co-create that so that everybody gets everything they want. So I think that's all I want to say for today, and to toss to you, where are you at with this? What's your level of vulnerability in life and your relationships? How authentic do you feel? And if you feel like something's missing, if you're ready to jump in, or maybe you've already jumped into a new relationship, checking your where you're at with this can be really powerful. And having the tools to go in, like when I feel vulnerable, being in my body, presencing with those sensations, knowing what that feels like, moving through the big fear, naming it, is probably the most powerful thing that I've learned in doing this work, that's supporting me to move forward and continue co-creating the relationship and the life that I really want. So I hope this supports you in some way. I'd love to know what you think, where you're getting stuck, and any other questions you might have. Have a great day.